Welcome to the Pinning Combination Podcast, College Edition. Still got a lot left on the bone to talk about this season, even though, as we mentioned in the Preps episode, the Preps are done for the year. Wyatt, Dick, I'm KJ. We'll just jump right into it. Two of the winningest programs of all time, Oklahoma State and Iowa, banged heads Sunday at Carver Hawkeye Arena to close up the regular season schedule, and Iowa was able to close out their perfect season with a 34-6 victory. The Hawkeyes just kind of maintained that dominance throughout the season and came away. Oklahoma State's not where they have been here in recent years. Kind of a rough season for them compared to things, but Iowa rolled, winning 8 out of 10 bouts.
Yeah, and impressively. I mean, DeSanto, fall. Kemmer, fall. Lugo, double unders to his back, fall.
That was impressive.
How about that? Kemmer not a fall, but a impressive
Major.
12-2 major.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, but also Max Mirren. I thought.
Yeah, another major there. Mm-hmm. And Warner, it wasn't a major, but he had some offense going. And so, those guys that won with, two exceptions. And this one was maybe the match that I was looking for the most, was at 125 with Lee and Piccinini, simply because of what happened the duel last year. Yeah. And Lee quickly, took it down and controlled the match, though it was a close match. And even at the end of the match, looked a little tired, that last minute. And when he was on the feet and Piccinini's, trying to get the takedown, he had to battle hard. Anyway, was it a major? It was still a major, I think. But he was still battling fatigue. And you know what? I like that because I think we're going to need that in the Big Tens and in the Nationals. So I like seeing him going deep in the match. And the kid works so darn hard during his match that you got to get in that, I'll call it maybe even 11-minute shape. Whatever it takes to go through all of the tiebreakers and such. Mm-hmm. But when you go at that pace, so when he's on top, he's working his fanny off, and obviously so is the bottom guy. But he just hasn't been there very much this year. So that was to me a neat win there to reverse that pin from last year. So at least in the duel.
Iowa scored bonus in 6 out of those 8 matches. This season, they are combined 112 and 18 in their duels. In 13 duels, they were combined 112 and 18, which is kind of mind-boggling. It's the 22nd time they finished the dual season unbeaten. And also, they set a record for average attendance in NCAA duels, averaging 12,568 fans in 7 duels.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But they had a home schedule.
That was so
big.
Yeah, like last year, schedule was just the opposite. Didn't have those marquees. This year's had like 5 or 6.
Every one of them.
The only big time duel they didn't have at home was Iowa State. That's the only one on the road. You had Wisconsin, which is actually I'd say a big time duel now. Mm-hmm. That was at home. Then of course you had the Nebraska, Ohio State, Penn State in 3 consecutive weekends, and then Oklahoma State. I don't think you could have gotten much better unless, maybe if Michigan was at home instead. Oh, Minnesota. Can't forget Minnesota either. So everything pointed towards that being the case. 87,979 fans came to the gates, which is also a single season record.
And how many duels?
7. Was it 7?
7
at home. Yep. So that's pretty amazing. You mentioned Lee. The one thing that was kind of interesting to find out, Nelson Brands wrestled at 184, but it was said Abe Assad will wrestle in the Big Tens. So not exactly sure what the situation there is with Abe Assad. because he had those 2 back-to-back losses and hadn't wrestled since the Michigan State duel. But he will be the Big Ten entrant at 184 for him.
And Nelson wrestled hard, but was just outsized. Good wrestler, obviously, from Oklahoma State, but Brands to me looks like a 74-pounder in size.
In one of those decisions, Alex Marinelli won 3-2 against Travis Whitlake. But
number 2 versus number 7, quality wrestler. So.
Yep. So a good hard-fought win there as well. Just one other note: Caleb Young lost to White Sheets. Young has lost to Sheets, Kennedy, and Quincy Monday.
All the sons.
And there's one other in there too that I'm blanking on right now. But Carr, David Carr, all second generation names there. So
well, let's say when he qualifies, right? Hopefully, and when he qualifies, right, we can get him his bracket so that he doesn't have any of those guys.
Yeah, right. So yeah, and Lugo was really impressive. So now a little bit of a break before Big Ten's out in New Jersey. Not this with the following weekend, which is like the 7th, 8th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever that weekend is there for Iowa. So Big Ten champs and Big Ten dual champs, and now finishing off 13-0 perfect season. Let's talk about Iowa State. They had a couple duels over the weekend, one at Missouri, right? And then at home against NDSU, which was a makeup from one that got postponed from January. They finished off with a come-from-behind victory against North Dakota State.
Correct.
Lost handily at Missouri, but it's not necessarily the results that were the attention getter. It's how those lineups looked for both of those duels.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on there. It's interesting. Iowa State did not wrestle 5 of their varsity that I could see against Missouri, and then
might even been 6.
Might have been 6 even, and then
they went and wrestled at a Last Chance Open, right?
Right, yeah, wrestled at a Last Chance Open hosted by Iowa State at Gilbert High School, and to look at some of those brackets are some interesting results. I'm not sure. It's very interesting. All I say is, if you're interested in it, go look.
So I'll say there's some injury defaults and stuff in there.
Medical forfeits.
Medical forfeits.
And there was some injury default wins. So at one of the Iowa State kids won the tournament with 4 injury defaults. In 2 seconds or less.
And it's getting a little bit of backlash because this was something that obviously was to help with records and RPI situations, correct?
Yes, it would appear.
When do they come out with the RPIs? Do you know?
I'm not. It'll probably have to be right here before the conference tournaments and stuff. So it's going to have to be pretty soon here. So this was, let's see. Here is one of the things too. Kerry Colott was mentioned, but in a response on Twitter to the Iowa State Open, I think is what it was called. Kerry Colott said, "If this is accurate, it needs addressed, so those who earn bids are not hurt by those gaming the system." So in other words, he's kind of indirectly pointing out that their padding stats or wins or their resumes to affect that RPI formula for when that stuff comes out and those automatic qualifiers are divvied up, and when it comes to qualifying for the NCAA tournament and seeds, right? Because the seeding is based on that now.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, if you're padding yours, you're hurting someone that you're bumping down, that might have earned it legitimately. So, and if that's a loophole in the system has to be corrected. So.
Yeah, I mean, what's the old say? Don't hate the player, hate the game, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There is a little bit of gamesmanship there that you think, hey, you shouldn't do that. But then again, like you said, it's left open.
Yeah.
You can't blame somebody for walking through the door. A little bit, even though you kind of can, but you can't. So I don't know. It is kind of an interesting thing, but it's now something that's going to have to be addressed. You can't
It would
just
appear.
yeah. So yeah, and unfortunately, what could have been a pretty interesting, exciting duel at Missouri turned out really not to be.
Yeah,
and then
they just won it. I believe it. The bookends, right? The 25 and heavyweight. Is that right? Yeah.
Those were two of the regulars.
Yeah. So.
Yep. So then they regrouped Sunday to face NDSU. As we mentioned, it was rescheduled from earlier when we had some bad weather. They came away with a 22-16 victory.
Came down to Dagan and he won 4-3. So that was nice for Dagan, who's been off and got back. What was it, last week? And so he needs to get back into the saddle there. So nice win for him and the team.
Ian Parker with a victory with a pin. I mean, at 141 to kind of set that up. So closing with 9 straight points was big. Kind of interesting that Todd Small had the injury default.
Yeah, I was hoping he's not hurt too bad with the Big 12 and the Nationals ahead.
Yeah.
So.
And of course, that's a weight that, Austin Gomez, a lot of people were expecting Gomez to be there. So now you're down Gomez and Small, possibly.
Gomez will be at the Big 12, just not wearing cardboard and gold.
Right. Another result that kind of stands out, 197, Cordell Eaton, former North Scott wrestler for the Bison, beat Joel Shapiro 3-2. I would guess they probably crossed paths in high school. Shapiro from West Des Moines Valley, right?
Yeah, I think Shapiro might have been lighter.
Okay.
That's my guess. Yeah, a little bit smaller. So
I think he was too.
Yeah, and then a little bit younger too, also. And then also McGuire.
Oh, yeah.
Is also another Iowan on that.
Yep, from Council Bluffs.
Right.
Thomas
The
Jefferson, I
125.
believe.
Yep. TJ. Yep.
And Mac will beat him 6-3.
So basically, that's 2 Iowans on the North Dakota State team. That is 2 Iowa. That's 2 more than Iowa has on their team, typically on their best team anyway. So.
Yep. Colbray with another win at 74. It looks like he might be kind of getting things straightened out a little bit. Marcus Coleman won by major, so they're off until March 7th and 8th as well with the Big 12s at Tulsa. Got some guys kind of trending in the right direction, like Gremmel we've talked about. Colbray doing some good things. Dagan getting healthy. Parker looking strong.
The bigger win I think maybe the biggest one of the weekend was UNI.
Yes,
UNI
very impressive.
Oh man, I think that might be the best that UNI's wrestled all year, quite possibly. So, they beat Wisconsin 20-18, and again started out with Schwarm. Guess what happened? 14th. He's the outright leader now. Actually, has 15, but 14 over D1 wrestlers, and he's the outright leader in the nation for pins at the D1 level. So
that was impressive.
He's starting
Well,
out.
it's kind of like when we were going through that UNI Iowa State duel. We kind of favored Mackle a little bit, unless Swarm got a pin. And that's the way he is.
And then Seth Gross handled Skazlarczyk with the tech fall, but then Michael Blockus, huge
big win against
That's
Moran.
number 4 ranked kid. Michael Blockus had a kid.
Yeah,
Nice.
9-4 victory over Tristan Moran there.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's a nice one. That's a nice springboard into the postseason.
Right, and then at 49, Lara was stepping in for Thompson, who Lara was winning most of the match. He went into the third period with a 4-2 lead and lost 10-8. Must have been a wild third period. I didn't happen to see it. I didn't realize it was on TV
Big
when
Ten?
it was on. It was not on the Big Ten. It was on, or was it? Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, it must have been Big Ten. And anyway, then
it said Cole Martin had 2 takedowns in the third.
Yeah.
To help him there.
Yeah, I mean, he scored 8 points in the third, evidently. So, big. It must have been a fun third period, at least for Martin. And then Evan Wick and Yount. Wick's just so good, man. He majored Yount. And then Steyer, nice rebound, after his loss to Colbray last week with a major. I think 9-1 it was. And then Lujan, looks so good. He looks like a finalist. He's wrestling so good. He had a 12-2 major. Here's as if Michael Blockus, the pin for Swarm, weren't big enough. Isaiah Patton went into the duel 0-5 in duels this year. 0-5 and pulls it off the win over Taylor Watkins, and gets it in the second tiebreaker. Would be the second, is it? Where they've gone ultimate, or they've gone sudden victory, tiebreaker. So I think it's the third one anyway.
Yeah.
And he ended up riding him out for the win, and that pretty much iced it. So then,
and let's not forget, Patton is probably more like a 74-pounder,
right, right,
wrestling up. So that adds to it. And
exactly. I think at one time he was 74, maybe even 65 early on, and then Isley had to wrestle Hilger. I think is ranked 4th or 5th.
Right.
It's right up there.
Yeah. I mean, that Big Ten, geez, it's just so loaded. So, and he just went away with a 3-0 loss, but that in itself helped the Panthers win. So it was a great up and down the line team win for UNI.
UNI finished the dual mark 8-4, which, given how they started, remember how they kind of were slow out of the gate. They finished 8-4. That's their best record since going 11-3 in 2016-17 season. The one big question mark is hopefully Holschlag will be able to come back for Big 12s, and
right now,
give
having
it
not
a
seen
go.
him, we saw him about a month ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Colorado.
Yeah, and then just haven't seen him since. So
Right.
it doesn't. It was. I guess we don't know, but it doesn't look
Right.
good, does
Yeah.
it? So.
Yep. But it's interesting that you mentioned Lujan, because something that happened during the state tournament week, news broke that Zahid Valencia failed a drug test at Arizona State. Right now, he's indefinitely suspended. They've got a couple duels coming up, or at least one left, maybe, before the Pac-12, Pac-10, whatever it's called now. Their qualifier. It could be that he misses those duels. Bless you. And then, but there is it very well could be that he's done for the season. If he's done for the season, I thought...
Obviously, the clear-cut favorite there than everyone else.
Yeah.
Now, if he's gone, doors open.
And I think Taylor Lujan would have an absolutely golden opportunity, pun intended, to win 184. With
He's right
Zahid
there.
out of the picture. I know some people were talking about Brooks at Penn State. Now, this being a big opportunity for him. But I think Taylor Lujan is the guy at 184 that with Zahid out of the picture. I think it really opens it up for him, or Hidley from North Carolina State,
And Bolin from Virginia Tech also would be in there too. So, but those guys, man, they're right there. And so Taylor's as good as either of those guys, that's for sure. So we'll see.
And Drew Foster showed it can be done. So
right. How's that? You and I back-to-back champs at 184.
How about
wouldn't
that?
that be
That'd
cool?
Fun, yeah.
And the other one too, it was interesting because this kind of hit like bam, bam. Dayton Fix also failed a drug test for him. Zahid's, not that it really matters, splitting hairs, but Zahid's test was referred to as a recreational drug. Fix, which I think was an international type drug test, failed for performance enhancing drugs, which, believe it or not, I mean, that'll have an effect on Iowa folks as well, because that's an Olympic weight that Thomas Gilman, right, is competing at, Spencer Lee is competing at. So you've got Iowa guys that could be affected if that ends up being something that takes Fix out of the mix. But
Interesting.
you liked it, Ryan?
I did.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, just some news that pops up that's going to affect Iowa wrestlers there. So it also could affect Abe Assad too.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna have a fallout if Zahid's out of the lineup, and of course for Fix he's not wrestling because the Olympic red shirt. It only affects the international stuff at this moment. So. We'll see how that all falls out. Division III, Division II have their regionals this weekend. Division III is at Dubuque Five Flags Center, hosted by Loris, right?
Yes.
I think it is.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if it was
I don't know.
Loris
I
or
don't know if it
conference
rotates
thing
around it,
or Dubuque or whatever. But that's been a great host. Starts Saturday, finals are on Sunday.
So
You have a little bit of a quiz or something for us?
So 6 regionals. There's 6 regionals around the country, 3 qualifiers from each. So there's 18 qualifiers in the national tournament. They use a 16-man bracket with 2 pigtail matches.
So they just take the top 3.
So take the top 3. So 18 teams included all of the ARC. So it'd be of interest to us locally: Co, Loris, University of Dubuque, Luther, Wartburg. Then also Cornell is in there. So possible area. Here's my quiz to you guys. Okay. So hopefully you can figure this out. This should be pretty simple. Possible local area high school wrestlers. I'm gonna say the school, and you can see if you can tell me who the wrestler is. Okay. So we're gonna start easy. Cedar Rapids Jefferson.
Kyle Briggs.
You're messing with me.
No. Actually, I was thinking you were going to name the wrestler, and we named the school. So I was.
Okay,
I was off.
I'll slow down.
Okay.
Cedar Rapids Prairie.
Taylor Lehman.
Oh, come on.
Mayman.
Taylor Mayman.
Lehman. Who's that?
This is a possible one. I don't know the lineups, so we'll see. But so, how about Cedar Rapids Washington?
Ooh.
Possible wrestler for Cedar Rapids Washington.
Logan Sears.
Logan Sears.
Oh.
Yeah. For
Warriors.
What are you looking at?
University of Dubuque. He's focused. He's got
I
his
know
hood
he
on
is.
there. Okay. Cedar Rapids Xavier has 2, maybe 3.
Lembeck.
Lembeck is one.
Clint Lembeck, Josh Gerke, and Keegan Schultz.
That could be Keegan, maybe at Cornell. So Lembeck at Loris and Gerke at Cope. So, and I don't know what Cornell's lineup.
All right.
Okay. Another, I think, easy one. CPU.
Brock Rappin.
Possibly Brock Rappin, right? North Lynn one.
Henderson. Brock Henderson.
Right? So
Could be Brady Henderson too, but more likely Brock.
Yeah. And then Linmar. Come up with this one. Possible.
57-pounder Shea Hartzler.
Shea Hartzler. Very good. Is a possible one. And again, we don't know their lineups. Okay, last one. Iowa City High. Oh, do we have a... We're flirting with 100%. I'm going to give you a da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Can you give me a school?
Iowa City High.
Well, I meant what program you?
Cornell.
Shank?
165 pounder.
Oh, why am I blanking?
All right.
And their coach, Brent Helms from City High.
We're going to have to
I can't
shut it down. Nick Jarvis.
Jarvis.
Yes.
Gosh darn it.
There we
And
go.
it's Nick NIC. Gosh darn it.
And so
so close.
Just to inform you guys, the possible schools outside the metro area, Marshalltown, Midland, Denver, Tripola, that are represented, could be represented by wrestlers. Wilton, Comanche, Marengo Valley, Davenport, Assumption, North Scott could have a couple in there. DeWitt, South Tama, Carlisle. That's just the ones that came off the top of my head as I was kind of going through this. So, my prediction for qualifiers, I kind of did this in my head, and I here's my prediction for qualifiers off the top of my head as I recall it. I think Loris is the favorite based on seeds, or based on, I don't know what the seeds are going to be yet, based on how kids are ranked right now, and maybe on D3.com I was looking because it has a more complete list. Obviously, Wartburg's right in there, so I think Loris might have 5 number 1 seeds, and they could qualify maybe 6 or 7. And then, but I think Wartburg could possibly have more qualify, just not number 1s possibly. I think they'll have, based on rankings, 2 number 1 seeds, and then Co and North Central are right in there. Both are very close and very tight. Maybe North Central is slightly above Co. I'm going to go with maybe 5. Again, off the top of my head, 3 to 5 qualifiers for Co. Maybe more. So North Central had quite a few there, maybe even more than that. So anyway, going to be very fun and very tough to watch that battle. I'm going to move on to D3, unless you guys have a D2.
D2, yeah, the Super Regional this Saturday.
Super Regional 5 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, at Augustana College, and I think that the best shot for qualifying for, there's 10 teams there, and again 3 qualify. Number 1 St. Cloud is there. Number 8 Upper Iowa, and number 18 Mankato, Minnesota State Mankato. Best opportunities are at number 3 ranked Justin Foley at 133. Number 6 ranked Chase Lunsman, 149. Number 2 ranked Nick Baumler at 97, and number 8 ranked Tristan Westerlund at heavyweight. So
that's a brutal regional up there.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, you got St. Cloud State,
That makes it brutal
Minnesota
right there.
Mankato, who I think Cooper Siebrecht from
right,
Lisbon,
Yeah.
a part of that as well for Mankato, and of course Augustana University, Pittsburgh Johnstown.
They're coming all the way out here. Geez, they separate.
Well, if I'm reading this list correctly, part of it maybe not, but some of the.
If that's the case, I might have missed them with a.
Actually, I think that was just Upper Iowa's season history, not the teams listed. So, but you got Mankato up there, and St. Cloud State as well, right?
Yep.
So, and that starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday, with the finals roughly about 4 p.m.
And they take how many out of that?
3.
It's just
the same as.
it's the same.
Yeah, D2 and D3 are the same.
So, kind of interesting there. And of course, Heath Grimm and Peacocks have had a really good year as well. So,
A side note on D3 and D1, I talked to local official Rick Stahl. He is officiating both of them, D3 and D1. So
really,
congratulations
cool.
again,
Congratulations, Rick. So we've actually had some pretty good representation between him and Kurt Frost. And
right. Kurt Frost, and then our other Iowan was Jason Wedgbury last year. First time doing D1. None of them did D3 because it fell during the qualifiers, and so that's going to boost the quality of officiating, I think, for D3.
Yep, and also keep in mind, since the D3 championships are here in Cedar Rapids, opportunity to watch some outstanding wrestling at the college level. That weekend of the 13th and 14th, I believe, that Friday, Saturday. So if you're in the area, make sure you plan on coming down there to watch a session or two or get to the finals, because it certainly is a great event, and we really want to have a good showing for that.
Look to have a lot of local kids there. So
yeah,
hopefully.
for sure.
Just like the regional, you have so many local kids that you almost cannot go.
Right.
I mean, it's just, and then the Big Tens are in
out in Rhode Island.
New Jersey.
No, or New Jersey. New Jersey.
Piscataway.
Yeah. So if you got to make a choice, might as well just go downtown.
Yeah. So, any other parting comments before we close things out here on the college level?
Nope.
Nope. All right. So we got D2 and D3 regionals coming up this weekend. Make sure to check it out. Get to Dubuque and watch D3s, or if you're in Northwest Iowa, make the jaunt to Augustana.
I do have one announcement.
Sure.
Remember when we started the season way back in November? My comment with the head scratcher, the Doobie Brothers not being in the Hall of Fame already. They're in the Hall of Fame. They got voted in. Let's hear it for the Doobie Brothers.
It was probably because of your promotion.
Taking it to
They
the
watched the
watched
podcast.
that.
Grove, yeah.
Our politicking is paid off. So you guys remember that if you have a social justice issue, let us know. We'll help you out. And on that, make sure you get out and support wrestling. And if you can't get to Dubuque, you can watch it on Track Wrestling as well. So, thanks for following along. Catch us next week for our next college podcast. Wyatt, go ahead and send us out for the week.
Let's keep wrestling on the move.